everybody. Welcome back to the Realennials. I'm Pat.
I'm Ruby.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We're here with a very special guest today, Maddy Rich.
Hey, thanks for being with us, Maddy. We're so excited to have you.
Yeah.
Oh, man, thanks for coming in. I know you had a long flight. Your arms must be tired.
Yeah, they're super tired from the flight.
Oh, that's the worst.
Quack.
Anyways, what's new? It's been a while since we've seen you.
I know. I feel like there's so much. I was telling Sam yesterday, there's so much random things to catch you guys up on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
That's why we're excited to have you on.
Let's start from the beginning. Where are you from?
So I grew up in Kansas City, and then I went to school at KU. So I was in Kansas my whole life, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you major in? I forget.
Well, so I started out a comms major, and then I changed it to theater, and then I changed it to liberal arts.
All right. Oh, and you ran track at KU.
Yeah.
And you're some sort of champion at something, right?
Yeah, so when I was on the team, we had some really good people on the team, and we won a national championship when I was on the team. So I have the ring. I didn't go, per se, but...
But you were part of the team. You're on the
Right.
team. Your
Yes.
squad. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Exposed
Yeah.
by herself.
I know. Should just wear the ring around, just not say anything.
Dude, it doesn't
Yeah.
even matter at this point. It's just
Yeah.
like, you know
I
what?
want to see the
I
ring.
got it.
Yeah, it's at my parents' house.
Is it like a big championship ring
Yeah,
thing?
like diamonds, the whole deal.
Did you get one?
Seriously?
No, it was just the women's team. So the women's team as a whole won nationals. We had some really good people on the team at the time, like people that went to the Olympics. So we just,
Dang.
yeah.
Cool. So what do you do, and how did you get there?
Well, when you say what do you do,
What don't
do
you
you
do?
mean like what is your job, or like what do you do day to day, or like
What do you do?
What do you like spending your time doing? Because we can't say this is our job completely, but
Right, yeah.
this is what we would say we do. So
Yeah. So I guess what I do right now, I have 4 different jobs.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So
The hustle, the grind.
I know. So when I first moved out there, I
To?
to LA. So I
Okay.
moved like end of July, early
I
August.
know we were sad she left.
I know.
So the first month, I honestly didn't have a job, and I just kind of like was figuring out like where I was living. I had some money saved up, and I was just like going out and partying. And
Hitting the beach.
if we're going into the details, so my boyfriend and I broke up right when I moved out there. So we were dating for 3 years, and then it was like, okay, I really want a fresh start. I want to go out, be able to like go out and meet people on my own, and like create my own friend group, and not have to be on the phone or texting. And
Yeah.
just like I wanted to be present, you know.
Absolutely.
So broke up, and then immediately got into another thing with another guy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Do
and,
tell.
And so I think like when you move somewhere, you're super vulnerable, and I think I realized about myself that I constantly am like leaning on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I was with this person for like a month and a half, and he was whining and dining, and like flew me to Vegas with him, was like paying for all my stuff. And my best friend moved to LA, and she actually moved in with me, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, shit, what am I doing? So we ended up like breaking it off, and it was like a really bad little breakup.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So then after that, it was like made me realize like I am very codependent on other people when it comes to like I'm always like relationship. So then it was like, okay, I really need to like take this time and like focus on me and like what I want to do. And I was telling Sam, that's like when you realize like, okay, like I actually have all of this extra time to work on your passions or this or that. So I think it's been a good time, but definitely life-changing.
Stuff has been happening.
Right? Yeah. So then I realized I was like, oh, okay, been partying for a month and doing nonsense, not doing anything that I moved out here to do. And I was like, my God. So I immediately signed up for classes. So
Nice.
I take classes at the Groundlings. So I have classes Monday and Wednesday. And the classes alone have been nuts.
Yeah. What's
Just-
that? What's
Yeah,
the
what is
Groundlings?
the Groundlings? Explain that to our audience because I don't think
Okay,
they know about it.
so it's a comedy school in LA. So I flew out in the beginning of like January, February time and tried out. So you have to try out to get into the program. And so I got in, so then...
Congrats.
Thanks. So
Yeah.
then it was like solidified, like, okay, I need to move and go out there and like go after it. So then I moved out there, started taking classes, and it's just so different. Have you guys ever taken an improv class?
No,
No, I never have.
we've actually discussed it a lot, but have yet to do it.
I really want
So
to do stand up.
Yeah, you should.
Improv. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that.
I feel like it keeps you on your toes though. Like it's
Totally.
I think it's important to like try it at least.
Seriously. I was telling Sam that I think it helps you in your everyday life just because you have to be like with your partner. You have to be in the moment, present, because whatever they say, you have to react. Like you have to be with it all the time. So I feel like it's helping me in my day-to-day life because you actually have to listen to people and like which I mean you do.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you can be thinking about other stuff in your mind and yeah. So class, like a normal class, you'll get there, you'll do warm-ups, and then at the Groundlings, you do a drill once and you never repeat it again. So the teacher will be like, okay, this is what you're doing. You get up in front of the class and just wing it and see how you do. And then it's like, okay, like hope you did well. Done with, you'll never do that thing again.
I'm so stressed out thinking
Yeah,
about
so
that.
your teacher is just there writing notes every single class period, and you're like learning a new thing, and it's like throw you into it, and it's like hopefully you can do well.
What? Explain some of these drills. Like, what kind of drill did you have to do when you're never going to do it again?
Let's see. Like, you'll go up there, and it'll be like, okay, you and your scene partner, you're in a thrift shop, and you're picking up different objects or whatever, and you, like, okay, and that's your thing, and you have to be a character. So immediately, like at the Groundlings, it's always about characters, not about like scenes or situations. It's about the character.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to immediately. You have 3 seconds basically to be like, okay, I'm gonna be. Who am I? Like, who? Like, am I gonna be an old lady? Am I gonna be like a hippie? Or like, what are you gonna be? What emotion? And then like, what you have space work. So like, holding a fake prop.
Oh,
so
whoa.
So it's like you like turn around and it's like you have to do that. So that just like took a second to be like, okay, I'm this person, I'm this emotion, and I'm holding this certain thing. Then you're also doing things within a scene and talking to your partner. So it was like you have to like rewire your brain to work differently.
Yeah. Had you taken improv before you went out there?
No, it was my first
I can't
time.
believe that. No way.
Yes, and everyone in my class was like from Juilliard.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
I'm just kidding,
God.
but like they were from New York. They've been like doing plays or like doing commercial work, or they're actors and actresses. So like when I got there, we all just sit in a circle and go around and talk about our experience. And I was like, so I just.
You just got into character right there, and you're like, I'm also from Juilliard.
yes, yeah. But yeah, so it's been nuts.
What was the process of, okay, where did that start that you knew you wanted to do that? And what was that process of saying, like, yes, I'm definitely going?
Yeah, I'm going to move.
Because we knew you, we met you only shortly, or at least me personally met you shortly before you did that. So I'm a little bit familiar with the time frame, but like, when was it that you're like, I'm dropping everything, I'm buying a new car, and I'm doing it?
I'm rolling out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, growing up, I like did plays in here and there, and would like do the talent shows and stuff. But I think in college, when I like made a little YouTube video for the athlete variety show, because I was like at a track meet, so I made a video and sent it in, and they watched it on the talent show, and it ended up going like a little bit viral. And I think that's when I was like, this is so fun. Like I love doing creative work, and that's when I was like, okay, I really like actually want to do this. Then I did a play in college, and then did like another video, and changed my major, and like got into it. And so I knew I wanted to do it. And then after college, I just was paying off my loans and stuff, and then I told all my friends, my family, like, once I graduate, I'm going to move. And it took me a couple of years. So eventually I was like, I'm flying out to LA. I'm going to try out for the Groundlings. If I get in, I'm just going to drop it and move.
Yeah.
So I think that was like, I didn't want to like
That's
put
so
it
brave.
all on that audition, but it was like.
But once you
Kinda
got the green light, you were like, it's time.
Totally.
It's time to go.
So since I've been there, I mean, the class has been great, but just like doing other things has been awesome also. Like I've been doing PA stuff. Like a bunch of different production assistant stuff for like, I've done a TV show and a couple shorts and some mini series. So just being around those kind of people has been really cool. And just like seeing their creative process and like seeing what they're making, it's been like really inspiring for me.
Oh, great.
Okay.
I know. Like I really
know.
want to tell you guys like all about all the stuff.
Dude,
but-
that's so awesome. And
Yeah.
Maddy also helped us. She did a costume design for a music video that we did, and she's helped us out on a few projects. And so, we were sad to see you go, but then now we're learning that you're doing stuff out in LA, which is great, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
But starting with you guys, starting here and doing all that was so helpful.
Yeah.
Like it really helped me being able to move out there and like pick it up pretty quick.
Yeah. Every time I hear about a project out there, I'm like, oh, Maddie's out there. I'm going to hit her up and send her out there.
Yeah. Are you on that Facebook page, the one that you sent me of the production people in LA? Yeah. And they're always like, we need a PA here in 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah, I'm on like 5 of those. That's honestly how that's every single job I've ever gotten in LA has been through Facebook groups.
No way.
Every single job. And
Insider
then from that,
tip.
it's like word of mouth or whatever. But like then you'll meet people on set and they'll be like, oh, do this, and then it like steamrolls from that. But like my babysitting job, my cleaning job, my serving job.
These are all your jobs you have?
Yeah.
Dude, you're living the LA life right there. That's like so
like scratching for money.
Yeah. So as an actor in LA, is that something that, okay, you have all these roles and different jobs. Do you use your acting skills in those? That's what I would do. I would totally be like the nanny or whatever and just like do it to the fullest just to have fun, but also to hone my craft. That's what I would do.
Literally, so I nanny and like I have to pick this kid up from school, take him home, bathe him, cook him dinner. And so I, no joke, when we're in the bath, when we're like, I'm like helping him in the bathtub, I make up characters.
Like full on Mary Poppins?
Yes, literally. Like, all right, so what's the plan today? Let's get you clean, like just dumb stuff. No, I'm not kidding. And then like I clean his house every other week, and I've made some videos at his house.
Is that the one?
That's awesome.
Is that the house?
We'll play them right here.
Where you did the dancing video?
No, this one's a cleaning one. I haven't shown you one, but I brought my laptop. I'll show you guys later.
Cool. Sorry, exclusive, y'all.
Yeah, I think I need to ask him for permission because I like did this video in his house. It's a sweet house on the beach.
Yeah.
And then, I feel like I should probably ask him if I can.
Guerrilla filming.
Yeah, guerrilla filmmaking.
Ask for
We're all about
forgiveness
that.
after the fact.
Yeah.
Do you still work for him?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully
I'm
you
gonna
won't.
quit it soon though.
Okay. Just release it after you quit.
Okay.
So
but
you
he's
can't
a
get
lawyer,
fired.
so it's like invasion of privacy.
Yeah, I would definitely ask. Ask. Just mention it.
You're already revealing too much about him.
I know, right? We know too much.
Yeah. But he's cool. Ish. He's fine. He's fine. So I work for him every other week, and I clean his house. Do his laundry.
Well, dude, money in LA. I'm into it.
I know.
I feel like you're only gonna have to be doing that for so long until you get the jobs that you're like out there to do. It sounds like you're getting opportunities and meeting people. And like, how do you feel about the culture of LA? Let's
talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, it's crazy because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I can tell you're not from LA." A lot of people are kind of standoffish and like think they're too cool. But then there's also people that are super friendly. But then I'll be talking to my like friend. I have a couple of good friends that live out there, and I'll be like, "Oh, they were so nice," and they're like, "No, they're nice, but they're being fake." And it's like, how can you tell if someone's being real or if they're like
faking it?
Yeah.
I mean, can you tell when these people are doing that? Like sometimes, no?
I don't know.
Because we're from the Midwest. We're just like, everybody is just nice. So we're just like, yeah, that's a nice person.
Seriously, like my, right before I came out here, my battery died in my car. And I was standing outside of my car with my jumper cables, hoping, like waiting for someone to stop and help me. And I literally, cars would drive by and I would hold my jumper cables up in the air. People would see and then turn, like once they got close, turn their head and keep driving. And like in Kansas, that would never happen.
No.
In the Midwest, like someone would stop immediately. Like it probably took like 20 cars, and finally a car that stopped, and they were like, "Oh, we saw your license plate that you're from Kansas." And the guy was like, "Oh, my girlfriend's from Kansas."
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know?
Dude.
So I also think it's just busier. Like people are like on schedules, the traffic's crazy. So it's like people are just like doing their thing to try to get by. And I've noticed all my friends that I've hang out there, like all my friends that I've been hanging out with are all from the Midwest.
Yeah.
I think I have one friend that's from LA.
Well, I think a lot of people in LA are from other places, right?
Totally.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people move there to like pursue the dream.
Yeah.
Do you go to auditions? Like, do you go to stuff for shows or anything like that?
No. So I haven't gotten into that yet. But that's like what I'm going, like hopefully starting to do in the new year. I have a friend who has some people that she was going to connect me with once I get back from break. So we'll see.
Okay.
But I'm down to start going to those things, you know? Totally.
Man, well, we miss you here. We're like, we started this whole thing right here, and we're just like super stoked. What does that mean?
Sam's back there giving us signs.
Are we done? Yeah, you're here. Okay, I didn't know. All right, well, we're here with Maddy. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back after the break. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Realennials. Thanks for tuning in. If you just tuned in, we're here with Maddy Rich. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Our good friend from back in town from LA. Ground Links Comedy School student.
Yeah.
And all around good gal.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Tell us more about the Groundlings. I'm personally curious about the improv scene in just in general, and kind of what you've been learning, and how it's been going for you. And you were gonna run some character stuff by us too, right? Like you were gonna kind of tell us what your characters are that you're working on right now.
Okay, so I'm in the basic class. Mm-hmm. So in the basic class, you're basically just learning about the basics of improv. So, which I didn't know any of this stuff. So they go through it and they talk about, like, you'll get a scene or you'll get an idea or you'll get a character, like something, they'll give some sort of prompt. So then they'll say, like, lights turn off or whatever, and then they'll say lights up. So within that time, you have like 3 to 5 seconds, and you're supposed to like go through these certain things. You're supposed to go your like who you are, like as a character. So like, let's say I'm like an old woman, or whoever you are. And then next you go into your emotional state. Mm-hmm. So this person's either upset or crying, or like they're into something, or like you pick their emotion that they're in, and then you pick some sort of space work, so like holding something, or like if the old woman like holding a cane, or like something. Because then lights up, you're supposed to immediately make eye contact with your person, so you can like feel each other's energy, so you can see like what mood they're in, or who they are, or what emotion they're trying to evoke, or whatever, like what they're holding, or so it helps like figure out. So it's all about working with the other person. So
but you don't know what the other person's character is. You're just
idea.
like, it's like a snap judgment. Basically, you're like, okay, they're playing a high school jock right now, or something.
You literally don't know. So a lot of times you'll make eye contact, because a lot of times you can feel like or you can see someone's emotion through their eyes. So if I'm like, let's say I'm someone who's like hunched over and upset, then you can tell like, oh, they're upset. And a lot of times if you mirror them, it's a lot easier to connect with someone if you're doing the same thing. So let's say I start out, but then I see them, and you can both like kind of form something together. And then like you even like starting out to make a noise. So you could be like, oh. And it's like, oh, they're upset. Or you can be like, oh, yeah. Like you can tell like, okay, so that's what they're feeling. And then like whatever you're doing can help set a scene. So then in the first like 10 seconds, you're supposed to say the who, what, when, where, why. And so then it helps set a scene. So you can be like, so right now I'm in the basics. So we don't even go into working on characters. That's the next level, which is intermediate. And that's what they say. I mean, I haven't taken it yet, but they say in intermediate that you are supposed to have 5 characters. And I guess like the final, what you do is you go outside of the classroom and then you walk into the classroom and you're one of your characters and they put you in a scene and you have to be that character in a scene and like hold that character the whole time.
What?
Then you leave the classroom and come back in. You do it 5 different times with different characters. So I'm pretty sure on the first day of class, you're supposed to open it. Like there's different ways to like create a character if you're having trouble. So like they say go through a magazine of like Good Housekeeping and like look at this woman and like what do you think she would be like? How did she grow up? What makes her the kind of person she is? And like where it is, like why is she the person she is? Or like go through like, you know, like an engine parts like manly or something like that. And that's like a good way. Or a good way is to like look at people in your life and mirror them.
Oh yeah.
Which like I try to do with my mom because she's such a character and she always takes it personal. She's like, oh, you're making fun of me, you're making fun of me. I'm like, no, that's what you're supposed to do is like look at the people around you. And
Speaking of which, have you broken out the bird lady on in school or anything like that?
No, but on no joke, on one of my 3rd or 4th day of class, they were like, okay, get into a character. And my character handed me immediately, she was holding something. And she was like, take my chicken. And so I took her chicken and I immediately went into like the bird lady accent.
Yes.
But yeah, I've showed my roommates some of this stuff and they were like, this is so funny.
It is.
Like,
it really is.
I really want to put it out, but it's just, it's like.
Timing is a thing.
Timing is a thing.
And I wanted to be like good and put together and like ready to go.
That's great. I cannot wait to hear some like other ideas that you have for comedy. For our listeners out there, Maddy's such a just phenomenal comedy mind. It's only a matter of time before that's like really exposed to everybody. Thanks. And yeah, we really support what you're doing. So.
Thanks. What I've really been wanting to do and trying to do, but it's I don't know if I'm like being timid about it or if I just don't know like the right way to go about it, but I really want to create my own group of people that we can make funny content together, and I want it to be like a woman-based group.
Nice.
Because you know, like I feel like for me personally, I know I like well I mean guys need part too, but I really want. There's so many male comedians.
Guys don't have it enough comedy share, okay?
Well, no, I mean
or other shares for that matter.
In it, but you know, like I really want it to be like a woman-based group of creatives that get together and make their own stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm having a hard time. Like, I think there's some girls in my classes that I'm like, ooh, I'd love to work with her. I'd love to work with her. And like, I'll be like, hey, like, we should get together and do this, that. And everyone's like, yeah. But I don't know if I need to be the one that's like, okay, I wrote this. Let's get together. Like, let's film this. I want to create like a group of people.
You have to do that.
You know?
If you want to accomplish anything, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be waiting to be invited to things your whole life.
Totally. I would say that as general advice also for our listeners and our audience is that, you know, if you want something, you kind of have to, instead of, and it's on that Vox video. The very last thing he shared, there's a video about how the, what's his name? Jason? I think it's Jason. He's on Vox. He's a journalist for them, and he was sharing how he got his job.
Who does Borders?
Yeah, who does Borders.
Johnny Harris.
Johnny Harris. He, dang, I'm sorry I messed that up. But his last piece of advice was, you know, don't talk about how passionate you are.
Yeah.
Like show it. Like go do something and show people that you're passionate about it. Totally. I think you've been doing that though. I see your Instagram posts and I'm like laughing hysterically at all of them every time you post something. So
I was telling Sam this, and I feel like since I moved there, I've been like slowly breaking out of this Kansas City shell. I think like living here, I felt like not judged at all, but I think I cared a lot about like what my peers and friends and people thought about what I was doing or what I was posting or this or that. But since I moved there, I've noticed like the norm there, like everyone, like you have to, like it's the way you represent yourself is your brand. Yeah. And everyone there does it so well and so fearlessly that I felt like I was like, oh, why am I being so timid and scared? I mean, it's still like there, you know, but it's like slowly cracking open, which has been cool, but I don't know. That's
an interesting observation because I do think that there's different mindsets in the Midwest and the coasts where I feel like in the Midwest, although we're polite and we have hospitality and things like that, I don't think that showboating or putting yourself out there is really encouraged.
Well, because it feels like you're being self-centered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like out there, a lot of people know that this is your brand. And like, you can look at it, go through, like scroll Instagram or whatever and see someone and judge them and meet them in person and be like, oh my gosh, you're not how I thought you were at all. Like I could look at some girl who's a model and be like, oh, this actually just happened to me. Yeah. I was at a concert and I made friends with this girl next to me, and she was so nice. We hit it off. We exchanged like contacts, whatever. She was so fun. Then I saw her Instagram and she'd like 20,000 followers, and she's like this hot model. And I was like, I would never have, I mean, she was really pretty, like a nice, cute, pretty girl at a concert. And I was like, oh, if I would have looked at this, I would have totally prejudged this girl, you know?
Treated her differently.
Yeah. And like, it's super frustrating also because my friends that live out in LA, who like one's an actor, one's in music, they've been out there for like 8 years. They're like, you need to rebrand, you need to brand better. Like you need to post like hot pictures of you in a swimsuit or of you like modeling and this, that. And I'm like, that's not like how I feel like I am. And they're like, sex sells though. Like you need to do this to promote your brand, which I've like tried to do a little bit, but it's like, then I'm like, oh, everyone's going to judge me or think this, that, this, that. It's all just like such a mind game of you're like overthinking this and that. And
I go back and forth constantly in my mind about whether or not I should show off my abs on my Instagram or, you know, because I don't want people to just only be into
it too. Like I can't believe you're doing that.
I don't want people to just only follow me because of my abs.
But you know, it's like it's hard to put yourself out there.
It is.
It's scary because then everyone's judging and like. Even I was telling Sam this too. Like I'll have an idea about something. And I'll think it's funny, and I'll show my friends, or I'll show like one of my friends, and they'll be like, "Oh no, I actually don't like the way this is," and I'll be like, "Oh," and then I'll like change my idea about it. I'm like, "Oh, maybe that wasn't funny." But then it's like, if I think something's funny, I should stick to it and do it because there's some people that don't like it and people that do like it, and then I shouldn't like change what I think is funny because someone else doesn't think it's funny.
You definitely have a knack for what is funny. And like, I definitely, 100%. Just from me to you, as someone who's like super into comedy, I've been into comedy my whole life, stand-up, comedy films. And there's something I think that's a little bit extra special about people who are funny because it's like people, I think comedic timing is just such a specific art. And you really have a knack for that. One of the last videos you posted had me tripping, like where you drug your hair through the
water one.
I was like, what? Oh my god!
Dude, the pigeon lady thing. I was like, oh my gosh.
Do you remember that episode of Hey Arnold? See, it's like some people got it. Like the ones that got it were like, oh, but people that don't get it are like, what is this?
Yeah, that's how I just posted a video about me like faking singing.
But you're really kind of good though. Are you a singer?
But no, that's not my voice. Like that's an overlaid singing.
That wasn't you.
No. And I actually stole I stole the audio from the singing lion video. Like
I thought that was you.
No, it's not at all. I did it intentionally because if you look at it on a big screen, you can tell that it's super fake, that my mouth isn't lined up with it. But I banked on the fact that most people will be watching it on their phone. Yeah. And on a smaller screen, it's like hard to tell. But people are like, oh my God, like Patrick can sing and stuff. Like I had no idea. And
it's literally him. Like it's not even singing words. It's you like be like, like singing. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's just like test miking, but it was so good.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, so yeah, I really support what you're trying to do. I say stick to your guns on your comedy, especially on your gut instinct when it comes to like comedy. Always, I mean, we're the same too. Like, always be open to constructive criticism, I think.
Totally.
But I think you can always tell when someone approaches you when they are giving you something, whether they're doing it like because that's how they feel about it, or if they're trying to provide something. Sorry, I'm like up and down over this thing. Or if they really are encouraging you to like, okay, maybe broaden how you view this particular thing.
Totally.
I try to be. When I give constructive criticism, I always say like, this is maybe consider this, but like ultimately go with your gut instinct.
Yeah, so I've been trying to start like doing characters and posting them. Yeah. I just did one the other day where I bought this wig and it's like a short wig. It looks like a mom. It's like bangs swept over her face.
I put on like manager.
Seriously, I put on this like suit, like a woman's suit top, like a blazer, like mom clothes.
What's her name? Karen?
Betty.
Betty?
Yeah, and Betty doesn't know anything that's like common slang or anything. Okay. And so in this like little monologue I did, she basically she sees this woman who's having a seizure. So she like runs up to help her, and then she realizes the guy next to her is having a seizure, and then she looks around and realizes that everyone is having seizures.
What?
And then she realizes that she had accidentally walked into a rave. And so it's like this lady's like telling her friends about it. And I showed my friends it, and they were like, no, like her accent doesn't sound good, and it's like too overdone. And I was showing Sam it, and he was like, no, like I actually like this. I think you should go bigger with the character, because like I think the way I did it, it was like she's like talking in this voice, and it's like this kind of, and so it's like a weird mom voice. But I don't think I was like buying into it enough to make it look realistic. It was kind of just like, you know, and so Sam was like, why don't you go into it bigger and harder? And so then I think it'll be more, even if it isn't realistic, it's like you're full in on a character. And like, and so it's like that. He was giving me positive reinforcement, being like, do it bigger or try this and this, instead of being like, nah, don't do it.
Yeah, that's one thing that like, kind of to go on that a little bit, is like just being creative and like going through iterations of your creative self or your creative ideas. I think it's definitely important to get feedback and do that, but I also think it's important to like do it and put it out there. And then even though, okay, every single project you do, like the next one's always going to be better, right? And so I don't think that there's any sense in like holding something back. Like it was created in a specific moment in time, and let that free, let that bird fly, if you will. And then, and let it be what it is. I mean, let people give you constructive criticism, and then take that forward, and you're not taking that like past historical project into the future. But you can take what you learned from it and apply it to something and make it even better.
I really agree with that, because a lot of times I'll hold on to something because I'm like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be funny, and if it's bad, I don't want it to represent me. But with that, it's like, it's probably better to just put it out, and then you can learn from it and then like keep going with it. But that's what I get nervous about. I'm like, what if I put this out and it's like, oh, this is so bad?
Well,
I can guarantee you it's probably not.
Feel free to always, you can always send it over. I know you sent me over one thing before you put it out, and I was like, yeah, that's great. All right, well, we're still here with Maddy Rich, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
We're going to take a break.
And we'll be right back.
His name is Chester, his name is Nestor. These are my birds, and I am the bird lady. Yeah, I love
them. Let's see now. What did today, I had a real good talking to Chester and Nestor. You see, they've been seeming real depressed lately. Just real down like. They even said no when I asked if they wanted to work on their whistling. They never say no to whistle work. So that's when I knew something really wasn't right. So I said, fellers, what has been getting you down? They told me that they've been feeling all kerblobbered and all fuzzy-brained and stir-crazy, and that they just been freezing their little tweeters off. They ain't winter folks, you know. So that is when I realized Chester and Nestor ain't migrated yet. What a dang doozy. No wonder they've been all dizzy-brained and confused and such. Their nature cues is off. And if their nature cues is off, then other nature critters, their cues is off. And the whole nature kingdom is wrong side up. I mean, what a mess. So, I've decided that I'm taking matters into my own hands. And I'm going to teach them and remind them how it's done.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Realennials. I'm Ruby.
I'm Pat.
And we're here with Maddy Rich. We talked the past couple of segments about Maddy's history, or her background and improv, and now we want to start off with a question. Ooh. In this book of questions, I haven't really picked one out yet, but okay, this one seems fun. If you could use a voodoo doll to hurt anyone you choose, would you?
No, I'm all about karma. Seriously.
Seriously.
I would.
Okay.
If it's about, like, I'm not kidding. If I'm walking on the street, I see trash on the ground, and I walk by it, I'm like, I'll try and pick it up. Not like for my sake. It's I'm like, okay, if I don't,
Like, that's the
some
right
sort of
thing to
weird
do.
Karma is gonna come back around.
Okay.
Seriously.
Let's pretend for a moment that you didn't care about karma. Who do you know would you have a voodoo doll for?
I don't.
Pat's gonna have to answer this question too, so that's karma for you.
I don't think anyone. I'm not kidding. I'm like, that's weird juju.
I'd probably
for
do
me.
Donald Trump. And I wouldn't hurt him, but I would like take his hair off or something like
okay.
embarrassing.
Dude, is that a product yet? Does anybody have that?
Okay, so my mom told me this yesterday, and maybe you can do like a fact check section of this because I don't know if this is true, but
Fact check.
But
Fact
the
check.
way that his hair is like that because he had surgery on his scalp of the part that was balding, and so you take out the balding part and then sew together the part that has growing hair, so then all the hair grows together in the same section.
Weird.
My mom told me this yesterday. That seems like nutty, and so I guess it went wrong, and that's why his hair is the way it is.
Really?
Apparently.
I could see him paying
That's why he's so
for
angry.
like the scalps of young Scandinavian children to be
Yeah.
like surgically implanted onto his head.
He could just have
well,
like shoulder
Some
length
orphans
hair.
in Scandinavia just go missing.
But doesn't that seems like weird science to me? Like that kind of surgery doesn't seem like that's real. Taking
it's
out the
real.
chunk that doesn't grow and then putting the chunks that grow together and sewing those chunks together.
Oh, people do
If
it.
your skin's loose enough, is that like what they do for facelifts? Isn't that? I don't know that much about.
I don't really
facial
want to get
surgery.
into facelifts.
They're
Anyway,
just
so
like,
you would do Donald
pull your
Trump.
face back. Just I don't know.
Please put that big up.
I have nice skin, so it's not an issue for me. But
So Ruby, who would you do?
Who would I do? Ooh, that one's tough. I would probably have to say Donald Trump too. I really try not to have any hate in my heart for anybody, but Donald Trump is really close to getting that for me. I don't. Maybe maybe not some like real hurtful stuff, but maybe like his shoe will fly off randomly somewhere. I don't know.
I don't know. My dad got a Ouija board for Christmas as a gift, and he was like, hell no. And so he like everyone was like, you have to take it home, and so we left it at my aunt's house.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I have a
I'm like
Ouija board.
the same. Oh no.
I don't have the I don't have
Do
the
not
thingy. I don't have the thingy. I just have the board. But I haven't done anything. with
Opening
it.
up those gates.
I don't have a Ouija board. I have a Luigi board, and it's just a picture of Luigi
On a board.
Oh
on a
my
board.
gosh.
A Luigi board.
That's a funny. Hey, do you guys want
it's
to
terrible.
do the Ouija board today? You can just pull it out, and that's it.
And then you summon Luigi's ghost, and he gets upset because you only ask about his brother Mario. How's Mario doing?
Oh my gosh, horrible.
He's the one that you're proud of. Yeah.
Speaking of this, do you guys want to hear a story?
Yes.
Yes.
It's so dumb.
What is it?
Okay, so I was getting done on a shift. I was serving one night, and my roommate came in and picked me up, and she was like, "There's this really good burger place by my house, and they have like veggie burgers and like
All the
just
good
different kind of
stuff.
burgers, good sauces, all the stuff." So we drove over there, and we smoked in the car, and then we went inside, and we were both just got really high. I don't know like what it was, but we
Yeah.
were both just like really high. We walked inside, we ordered our food. And like the lady at the register was like laughing at us. We go and sit down, and we realized we were wearing the exact same outfit. Both of us wearing jean jackets, a black T-shirt, black pants, these Converse, these whatever they're called.
Vans, yeah.
Both wearing Carhartt beanies, and we were like, we look like idiots. We both sat down on the same side of the booth, like we just looked dumb. So then we were eating our food, and my friend was like, "Sorry, I haven't talked in the past like 5 minutes. I've just been like really zoned out." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't even realize like you hadn't been talking. I was really zoned out too, and I was eating my food." And I look up to like see what she was zoned out on, and I like follow her eyes, and I'm dead serious. So the whole time, like I knew like my surroundings, I knew like who was in like the restaurant. There's probably like 6 other people. I look over, and in the corner booth was this girl standing up straight on her feet, staring at us. What? And she was, I would assume she's like 40s. Like black hair, it was like big out to the sides, curly, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's a black dress down to her knees, black tights, black shoes, arms just down to the side, staring. Huge bags underneath her eyes, just staring at us. And I was
What?
like, whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on over in the corner?
I'm seeing Helena Bonham Carter.
I actually drew a picture so I can show you guys it, but I'm not kidding.
We'll put it here.
I'm not kidding. So we're both eating our meal, and I'm like, what is going on? And like, I don't know if it was because like we were both like new to LA, just feeling vulnerable in general, super high. But this girl was staring at us, so scary. And then I was watching her in my peripherals. So we stared at each other for probably like 5 seconds, like didn't break eye contact because I was like, wait, what's going on? It took me a while to process it, and we're just staring at each other. And then I realized like she wasn't like she was like not. It was not normal. And so then I looked down and was like, oh my gosh, what the fuck? And out of my peripherals, she's still standing there staring. Then all of a sudden, she sits down in this booth where there's 2 other women sitting in the booth, and they didn't acknowledge her at all. So then she stands back up, and I'm watching her the whole time on peripherals, and I'm like, and she's staring at us, and I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? So Mary and I are like, we're kind of like hitting each other into the table, who is this person? She sits back down at this booth, this corner booth. And the women she's with don't acknowledge her that she's standing up, sitting down, staring at us like it was weird. All of a sudden, she stands up again, looking at us, starts sprinting to our table. Sprinting, full out sprint. What? Gets to our table, pivots, sprints across the restaurant and into the bathroom. And Mary and I were like, she's gonna come out with a gun. Like we were like terrified.
Like, what is happening?
So we get up, we're like, let's go. So we get up, run outside, fast walking to her car. I'm looking inside the restaurant. The girl comes out of the bathroom and stands at the door, staring outside at the door. So we're sprinting to the car, get in the car, drive home. We're both so scared. We get back home. We couldn't talk about it because we were like, no, that like something was going on. We weren't sure, but we were like, was she real? Like, were we seeing her? No one else in the restaurant acknowledged that this person was sprinting around, standing at the people at the corner table, weren't acknowledging her. It was so nuts.
Did anybody else acknowledge that she was like sprinting through a busy restaurant?
No, and that's why it was even weirder. We were like, was she real? So we were like, let's call the burger place and ask if they saw her too. But we were both like too nervous. So we went in like a week ago, like a week after, and it was our same like waitress lady who was there, and we were like, hey, and she was like, hey. Then we talked about it, and we're like, by the way, do you remember this person being here? And she was like, oh yeah, she's a regular. We just think she's kind of like goony. So we were like, oh, thank God.
Like we thought we went crazy.
But Mary thought she was an alien. And that we were like only seeing, and I thought, I no joke, felt like her presence. I thought she was like trying to possess us.
Damn, how high were you guys?
What was that strain that you guys got?
Right? I have to.
Weed is
part of
legal
me wants
in
to know
California,
how
by
much
the way.
weed you consumed, and also part of me feels like that seems normal for LA.
I was gonna say, was
Yes.
that just like a?
So I think she was
thing?
probably like a person that hangs around in the town, and it's like kind of, you know, and that's why I think no one is acknowledging her because they're like, oh, she's just doing her thing.
Yeah, that reminds me of the guy from Lawrence that walks around with the baby stroller.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
It's like super
but
normal.
He's actually like can smile and like be friendly with his baby. Her just straight up staring.
Yeah.
Friendly with his baby.
It's like
Here's a picture of her. So the next day I drew her because no one believed me.
Can you send that to me? And I'm gonna put it up on the green screen.
Yes. Oh, I'm not kidding. I have this drawing in my planner, and I was like, I need to rip this out of my phone, out of my planner. But
That's
it gives
hilarious.
me the heebie-jeebies looking at it. That's how much her soul like entered mine.
What's up with this LA, like the energy thing out in LA? Everybody's like on some energy, like you know I'm into that type of stuff, but like
I am too. I'm
like
like,
we're
oh.
into it. But is it exacerbated out in LA? Like are people just like constantly like, whoa, your energy's so great? That's how I feel like what's
That's all
happening
that
out
salt
there.
water.
No, it's true.
Like crystals, the energy.
Yeah, I'd
I
say
mean,
there's
I
just
believe
more.
in
It's
it.
more accepted there, so I think more people are more open about it. I feel like there's people that do that here, but maybe it's just like not as common.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole energy situation's everywhere.
I have a theory about like Midwesterners versus West Coast in particular, is that on the West Coast, they spend so many more months out of the year in warmer months than we do. And I think people are more naturally open and accessible, and not just physically, but also emotionally whenever weather is nice and things are nice. So My theory is that people on the West Coast are more emotionally developed and open than people in the Midwest. Because I think in the winters here, people are very shut off and like, I'm going straight to work, I'm going straight home after that, and like I don't want to talk to anybody, I just want to be warm. Whereas like maybe on the West Coast, they're like doing more fun stuff outside, interacting with each other. And so I can see how like a culture of that open energy, open emotional exchange is there and thrives there more so than here. Just a theory.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you think everyone on the East Coast is just closed off?
Right? It just goes.
Friendly to cold.
But I've had conversations with people from California and like Oregon and stuff like that, and they're just like, seem super normal, quote unquote normal, whatever that means. Where they're just like, oh, your chakras aren't aligned or whatever. And it's like, okay, like you're just not in tune with your deep emotional well-being or something like that. It's like, whoa, bro, chill out. But you're just a cashier. I'm just trying to get a smoothie.
But it's true though, because I've had so many conversations since I moved out there about this kind of stuff. Like, have you heard about like when you're reborn, like your rebirth? So I'm about to turn. So you add up
28.
I know. Oh my god.
When we were doing ayahuasca in Ecuador, that was like one of the big conversations that a lot of people go around that time in their life. Between the like 26 and 30, like that's when people are like trying to go do all of that.
Yes. So this girl the other day, I was like, oh yeah, I'm 27, and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, oh, what do you mean? She was like, oh, well, in your like your birth year is your 9, so it's like you're at the very end. It's probably the hardest time of your life. And I was like, oh, sweet. Like, looking forward to it because I just turned 27. But this woman's about to turn, I don't know what age, but she's going to be 1. So she's like, I can't wait to restart my life. So do you know about this? So
no
they
idea.
say you add up your age. So 27, so I'm 9. So 7 plus 2 is 9. So when I turn 28, it's like you're turning, 8 plus 1 is 10. So then you're like 1. So you're starting over. It goes in like sections of 9. And so then it's like when you hit 1,
is this based off of Common Core math?
I don't know. So I don't know. Apparently, it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. That I didn't get the specifics when we were doing it, but that's just like a time in your life when you're like.
I've been reborn so many
rejuvenated.
times.
Yeah.
I'm at least like on the 4th version of myself.
Yeah. How does it feel?
Yeah, how does it feel to
I'm
be
just-
so evolved?
I'm more excited about life now than I've ever been, but I'm also more tired than I've ever been all the time. Maybe I just have low iron or something.
Oh, probably.
We'll get you some iron supplements and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
Magnesium, something.
Man, what's next? What's the future hold for you?
Yeah, what are you doing? Like, what do you have any upcoming projects? Like, what do you want to be doing? So if anybody out there can help us, you know what I'm saying?
Well, so I have that job.
Yes.
So I just got a new job, my 4th job. So I'm hoping to like wean out the other jobs and make this one like my hopefully full-time job. But she is actress, comedian, and she does character work. So I feel really lucky that like working for her thus far.
That's awesome.
Just
That's
because,
good
like,
timing.
It's
Maddie.
great timing, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
weird?
the universe is like
The
putting things
energies.
together. The energies are working. I'm just
But
saying.
yeah, so her characters are so good. And so she does all these different characters, and she did a play on Broadway, and so she'll like get into a character and then say that character's opinion about like things going on in the world.
Yeah.
So I think the last one she did was about sex trafficking. So it's like a comedy, but it's like lighthearted and this and that, but it goes deep within these characters and their point of views on things. So anyway, just working for her, I'm just hoping to like be in the mix of things and like go to her different shows and like meet people and just be in that environment and hopefully like maybe one day help her write or this or that. So I'm really excited about that. And it's exciting for my class because the next one, intermediate, is going to be about creating characters.
Yeah.
And the person I'm working for has like 50, you know?
Dude,
Dang,
there's
that's
no
awesome.
doubt that happened for a
Right?
reason.
Isn't
That
that
is
crazy?
happening for a reason. I love it. So
Cool. Well, we're super duper excited for you. I mean, all the best luck to you in the future. Hopefully, we get to collaborate with you more. And special thanks to Nico Giles and Level 3 Studios and Nicholas Segura from Nicholas Segura Marketing for the collaboration and helping us produce this show today, as well as Gennard over at One Kansas City Radio. We're the Realennials. Be sure to check out all of our stuff. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm Pat.
I'm Ruby.
And where can we find you, Maddy?
My handle is @I'mRichBitch.
What was that?
It's like I'm rich, bitch, but not with the I, with the E. Because my last name's Rich. It's like I'm rich, bitch.
This is like the
I know that. I
This
just
is like the
hearing you talk
master
about
of
it.
none. What's your Instagram?
Oh my goodness.
By the way, another thing in LA that everyone does, they won't be like, oh, what's your number? They'll be like, oh, here, let's become Instagram friends. I'm like, what about like just getting your number and like texting?
Yeah.
And like calling
That's
each
funny.
other. Thank you for tuning in to the Realennials. Thanks again to Maddy Rich for being on our episode today. And now please enjoy our musical guest, Crystal. Woo!
Oh, okay.
That's what you gon' do. You should be on your body. Cause when you're on your body, you be killing like body. Tell me what you